Good evening. Welcome to another episode of What's Your Story? Tonight I have the privilege of sitting down with Detective Cory Tardif, who works right here in Kennebunkport at the police department. So we want to welcome you to our show. Thank you for being in the hot seat.
Well, thank you for having me.
So we usually start our show by asking our guests where they grew up.
I grew up in Biddeford, Maine. Went to high school there, and then eventually even ended up working, in various businesses in town through high school. So,
Yeah.
pretty deep roots in Biddeford.
Yeah. Did your parents live there for years?
Yeah, my parents grew up in Biddeford.
Did they?
Went to high school in Biddeford, and
Yeah.
then obviously that's where
Yeah.
I was born too.
Yeah. Siblings?
One sister
Uh-huh.
lives in Biddeford.
Anybody else in law enforcement?
No, just me. First
Just
one
you?
in my family. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think of it as a accomplishment. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you attend the Maine Police Academy or?
Yes. Yep. I went
that-
through that in 2015.
Okay. So what's that like? It's a pretty rigorous course for a certain period of time.
Yeah, it's an 18-week training program.
Mm-hmm.
The first couple of weeks are more physically demanding than probably mental. Well, it's mentally demanding too, but
Mm-hmm.
you definitely feel it a little bit more. And then as the time goes on, it gradually gets easier, or you just get used to it.
Yeah.
I'm still not sure which one.
Yeah. And so, and when you get out, have you already been working in a police department and then you go, or do some people go and then
Yes.
get a job?
I had been working with the Biddeford Police Department
Mm-hmm.
for a few months, and then I went through the police academy, and then
Yeah.
when I came out, I was able to work on my own on the road.
So I would think is that a normal thing for a town to start working somewhere and then they,
Typically, yeah, because there's only a couple academies during the year. So if you get hired during kind of one of those off periods, then you're working the road, going over policies, procedures, and
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of the training program before the actual academy.
yeah. Is there a commitment? So if you're working for, say, the town of Biddeford, is there a commitment after for a period of time, like in the service? Sometimes
Kind
they do
of.
that.
I mean, yes and no. I mean, there's some sort of like academy buyback that other like the town would have to kind of help out
Yep.
pay for, but no, there's no like.
You don't have a contract
No,
to stay for.
No, not at all.
That's probably a good thing.
It is a good thing,
Yeah.
because it's not for everybody, and
Right.
it's good that you have the option of kind of being able to understand that, and then, leaving instead of staying.
Yeah. So when you're at the academy, like what kinds of courses are you taking? Is it, I mean, I watch a lot of TV shows, so I see the other side of, that, but like, I'm curious to, like the classes that you take and, the training that you.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of, we do the driving, the firearms week, a lot of, I guess like wrestling, ground fighting type things, but there's a lot more as far as, there's report writing, dealing with like vulnerable people. So whether it's, elder abuse or
Right.
a homeless population, and then there's a big piece on mental health as well.
Right, right. And that seems to be, something even more.
Mm-hmm.
I think you and I have talked a little bit about that, like maybe having something, here or, in town to, sort of inform people and,
Absolutely.
let them know what's going on, what they can do. So you came to Kennebunkport. When did you start?
2018 I came.
2018. Okay. So our producer Mike wants to know how we know each other from elsewhere. So I went outside to the parking lot, and because I saw Detective Tardif sitting in his car, and I went out and I said, "Is there something I can help you with?" And we had a little conversation. And as I turned to go, he said, "Hey, did you do a wedding for my friend Peter a couple of
Yes.
years ago?" So Emily is my niece, and she and her husband asked if I would perform their wedding. So that's how we know each other, Mike. So it was at Log Home Farm, and in 2019.
Yeah, it was a beautiful wedding too.
Yeah, it was really nice. And so ever since then, we've seen each other at, various family function. So it's good to know you.
It is.
You know, outside of the library and not getting pulled over. Knock on wood. So anyway, but that was, and I got to meet your wife and daughter.
Yeah, Lillian. Yeah.
Lily, yes. Yeah. So, what does she think about Dad and his?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Just this morning, she was watching something on TV, and there was a picture of, or the person talking on the screen was in uniform, and she pointed at the screen and was like, Daddy.
That's funny.
Which was great.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think it's great that she can, relate even at the age of 2, who I am, and that's a part of who I am.
So you and Peter, is that where you and Peter met? Was at the academy, or you know each other before at the police department?
Just from the police department, yeah.
So I saw him one day. He helped us out with some things at the house, and he was he went to get ready for work, and he came out with all of his uniform. I could not believe how much weight.
There's so much stuff, yeah.
There's a lot. You got a body camera and like all those other things that you carry. So what's your average weight that you're?
I don't know. I mean, I would say somewhere between, 15 and 20 pounds, depending on like the size of the person. But I mean, a lot of the stuff is all useful. I mean, there's a reason why it's all there. If it wasn't, we'd, leave it in the car.
Right. So, and I think with the body cameras, when you have that on and you're, unfortunately it's helping you too, in case, right? So, have those been pretty effective for?
Yeah, I mean, they've been great. I mean, so we don't have like the body camera. We have a wireless microphone that we carry. And then our car has a camera that looks, so you can adjust it to, kind of where the focus is. So if there's like a vehicle off the side of the road, you can turn it so it at least faces it and it's not the opposite direction.
Right. And so the ones I see are usually probably the ones on television, for all those TV shows I watch.
No, but they've been helpful. I mean, they support, everyone's, it's kind of an unbiased view of
transparent,
everything, which is great. I mean, it helps.
Yeah. So, do you watch? Speaking of, do you watch any detective shows?
I like Bosch. I like the show Bosch on Amazon.
So do I.
But for a while, I didn't watch a lot of them just because it was. I found other interest, watching on.
Yeah, because you probably roll your eyes a lot.
Sometimes,
I mean, within an hour they've caught the bandit.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of it is, I like the shows like that one where there's something going on. So throughout the whole series, you're putting the clues together. Yeah. And did you ever think you were going to become a police detective?
No. I went to school to be a game warden, and that kind of fizzled out. And I went and worked for I actually worked here as a community safety officer.
Yeah.
While I was in college.
Yeah. Giving out tickets.
Yeah, handing out parking tickets, but no, it was great. And then I liked working for a municipality and not spending all my time, during hunting season working when I wanted to be home. Yeah.
Have you ever read the Paul Dwarin books, the Mike Bowditch?
I've read like the first 4 or 5. My grandfather's a big fan of them, so he gives me the books when he's done reading them. Yeah. I still think like Poacher's Son is probably one of my favorites, the first one, but he's been here a couple of times, and every time he's here, we have probably 100 people in the room. He's such a big draw. I believe it.
And he really does spin a good tale. So
he does. I've read a handful of his, and some of the other authors like his, like Randall Probert, I think, is one of them. He's another kind of main author.
Yeah. The Bosch books, the Michael Connelly books, those are lots of fans here that will read those, and I see more and more of that that they're putting out. They'll take an entire book and make it into a season of something. So I wonder if we see Paul's books becoming movies. It would be great to set them in Maine.
Oh, I'd watch them. Yeah.
Maybe you can get on.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do.
So as far as the police department goes, do you have projects that you're working on that you would like us to know about, or?
I mean, we're always trying to do more for the community. For instance, we kind of help out with like an elder abuse awareness
Yeah.
because we deal with a lot of scams. Obviously, my role here, I deal with crimes against persons and property.
Yep.
And most of the crimes against persons we have are scams, people going through other people's mailboxes, a lot of like fraudulent type
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
So we try to put on a class to educate people on how not to fall for these tactics of your grandson being in Nigeria and he needs bail money and you send him all this money, but it's never him.
Yeah. And there are so many people that are very convincing. And so tough to, figure out. So would there be like maybe 3 things that you could tell us right now, like what to look for, if there's if someone calls you?
Yeah, I mean, if they call you and they don't even know you by name, or you ask them, well, what's my name? Without you giving any information, that's usually a pretty big red flag if they're referring to you as sir, client, user, whatever else it is.
Right.
So knowing who it is, and a lot of times these things are too good to be true. If
you've won something.
Yeah, you won something, but you won $1 million, but you need to send us $3,000, $4,000 just to put a security deposit on it. Like,
right.
Those things don't exist.
So if something happens to someone, and that how do you step in, and is that like for recourse? Like, how are you part of that? Like trying to figure out who it was and how to get that person's money back, or?
Yeah. So we, through the legal process, through the courts, you submit a subpoena, which is kind of a document that it relinquishes records of who might belong to a certain account, like an email address or a bank account.
Yeah.
So we'll look through that information, try to determine where they are, because most of the time they're not here.
Right.
And some of that information can kind of bring us to where they might be and reach out to another department. It's a lot of collaborating with different agencies.
Do you have so if you know of, so the way that you all communicate, so if something's happening up in Machias, or you get alerts that will say, he's heading your way, or something, or she is heading your way, something like that?
Not quite like that. But there are a lot of different bulletins that get shared within like the law enforcement community to kind of put out. For instance, we had a credit card scam where someone was going through like a series of mailboxes, and they took all the credit cards out, and we can kind of share that information through some of these bulletins, just to let other agencies know that it's an ongoing issue. Then you can kind of, if one agency has one piece of the puzzle, we have another. You kind of can put things together.
Right. Well, sometimes I'll get like from, I guess it's whoever has the LL Bean card. And I probably shouldn't say this on TV, but, you get those advanced check things. And I immediately rip those up because I just think that's asking for, and if that's in the mailbox, it's
kind of what happens because it's got all your information on it. It's pretty easy to take that card, flip it over, and it's got your name, it's got your account number, and depending on what the person on the other end of the phone is asking for questions, that might be all you need.
Yeah, so be careful. Be careful what's in your, get your mail.
Yeah, get your mail.
Every day.
If you know it comes at 5 o'clock, don't let it go a couple of days or go through the weekend. It's easier said than done when you have a snowstorm. But
but it is, I think it is important, and I think people just think, I'm just going to get junk or whatever, but there is a lot of stuff in there that's sitting there waiting for
someone to come
take the bad guys. So, as far as like future goals for the department, for yourself in the department, anything that you, as for, like community-wise, anything that you would like to see that the town embraces, or just keep doing the good deeds that you're doing?
I think we do a pretty good job here.
I think you do a fantastic job here.
People generally like us,
yes.
And everyone seems to be a big supporter of our police department and the town itself. We all work together. All the departments here and all the businesses kind of all come together, especially certain times of year.
Right.
It's a great place to work for.
Yeah. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you feel like you're working against each other. And when you go for for anything here, I feel the same way. There's a lot of, when I see Lori Smith, the town for our budget, or if I get in touch with Allison, or I get in touch with you. I mean, it's always it's always a yes. How can I help you? Kind of attitude, which I really appreciate. That. And so I'm going to step back and talk a little bit about your family. So your wife, does she work?
Yes, she's actually an EMT in the town we live. Yeah.
Yeah. So she must see. So did you used to see her on calls?
No, never.
Never.
No.
Okay. Yeah. I would think that would be that's tough to when you get home to leave it.
I mean, it's
for both of you.
But it's good that we both kind of have that understanding.
Yeah, that's true.
Can kind of
you
never truly can understand how someone's feelings, but you can relate.
You can relate to that, because I think a lot of times it is that there's probably just a lot of when you see certain things, it's probably hard to shake off.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, but thank you for what you do. By the way, it's it is. I think we're very lucky, in this town, but also, in this country, to have law enforcement and all the things that it's not just about, chasing down somebody in a car or,
It's way more than that.
It is so much more. And I think, in the last, especially, during the pandemic, there's been so much more some of the mental illness issues that have come to the forefront, and hopefully people are having some empathy and learning.
I think so.
Things.
I think obviously the pandemic has brought a lot of bad times, but I think some good things have come from it. We're taking certain things a lot more seriously now, and mental health obviously being one of them.
Yeah. And when I was in school way back in the day, we talked about this melting pot that we all live in. And I think it's even more of a melting pot, but there's still, cultural things that we just, we need to continue to learn and be, open to learn about. And,
absolutely.
Here in Maine, it's, we're pretty
sheltered here. It's hard to kind of relate to what's going on everywhere else, because we are very much on an island here. It feels like sometimes.
We really are. So we have at the end of our sessions, we usually have a rapid fire round, we call it, where you can just give a one-word answer or go on. And these are very easy. Favorite color? Blue. Favorite movie?
I don't know.
Sometimes
I really like the grumpy old men movies.
Oh, okay. I like those too. Do you have a favorite ice cream?
I would say chocolate.
Chocolate. Favorite book?
Probably one of Paul Doreen's.
Okay. Favorite restaurant?
I like Beach Fire in Kennebunkport.
Okay.
I don't
think I've ever been there. What kind of food?
They make really good mac and cheese.
Oh, good.
We're about comfort food in my household.
Yes, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Favorite vacation spot?
Anywhere north of here. Anywhere where there's a lake, I can go fish or hunt or something like that. Yeah.
What kind of fishing?
Like fly fishing or brook fishing, just kind of like an active style of fishing instead of sitting in a boat.
So fly fishing. If we brought in some supplies, would you come teach a class?
Only if it wasn't on this.
Yeah, it would be in person. I've always wanted to learn how to do that. So, if somebody was coming to town and they saw you out and about and they wanted to do something special, like would there be a place here that you would recommend or something to do for people when they come to town?
Well, I'm big into the outdoors, and I think the Conservation Trust here does a really great job of. They have a bunch of different trails for all walks of life. With bicycles, you can run them, you can ski them. So whatever time of year, there's kind of a trail for anybody, and you can really get out and explore. So I think we do a great job with that.
Yeah,
here.
there's and the keeping the sidewalks nice and clean and available for people. I find that too when I'm out walking around here. So that's really good. Do you go out with your family walking the trails at all, or?
Yeah, my wife will take our daughter and
Yeah.
we'll kind of go, walk some of the easier ones where, well, at the time where we could get like a stroller through.
A stroller.
Or at least a stroller in tow in case
Yeah,
we get
yeah,
tired.
yeah. And our last question is always, do you have a favorite library?
Well, I mean, this one
You
is
don't have to
my
say
favorite
this
library
one.
by far.
Because you mentioned MacArthur a few times, and that was a favorite of mine that I used a lot when I was in school, because they had really long hours, and they had a lot of places that you could go and study. So
Very kid friendly.
but
And
very kid
we used
friendly.
to,
That's right.
When I worked as an officer in Biddeford, we would often go in there and just routinely go in and say
Yeah.
hi and check with the staff and check on say hi to the kids. It's always nice to
Right.
kind of give them a
Yeah.
face to go with the department. So we
Yeah,
like
and
doing
that is a nice thing, because I think it's always there's that opportunity if they know your face, and they have to approach you at some point too. It's like, I know this guy, I trust this guy.
Right.
Yeah, so
They
that's
see that we're people and they
That's
can
right.
kind of relate, and then they think, well, I met this officer and he was really nice, so this one's probably gonna be really nice too.
right. That's great. Thank you very much, first of all, for what you do, and thanks for being on our show. And we want you to make sure you stay safe.
Yes.
So, and hopefully when we resume story time upstairs in person, you'll bring that beautiful little daughter.
I'll bring my daughter in a book.
And you can bring your fly fishing equipment and teach us a course. So that would actually be really fun. So anyway, thank you very much. Thank you for being on, for joining us tonight for our show. And hopefully we will see you next time on What's Your Story?